Okay, so in this video, a student of mine sent me his very first shoot, his exteriors. So today we're going to edit them together. This is really just to show him exactly what the process looks like, but I wanted to show you as well. So basically the whole scenario is I just download them, I import them into Lightroom, and then I put my preset on there. But this is a new computer. Well, it's a decade old computer, but it's new to me, so I don't have my presets on here yet. So we're going to do it from scratch and then just kind of go through the process of me editing my exteriors for you to copy if you would like. So let's jump into it. I'm going to go through and get all my students' images. Took a bunch of exteriors and click and drag, then hit import. Got to let them all populate. I have not imported my presets into this iMac yet, so we're just going to do it from scratch, which is totally fine. So I'm going to right click, hit stacking, auto stack by capture time, and then I usually leave this on 2 seconds. I figure that does a good enough job. Then I'm going to select the first one, press shift, and select the last one. And then I'm going to hit, actually first, because I haven't done this yet, I'm going to select one. So on a Mac, when you're going to be doing your first HDR merge, you're going to hit Control H. That's going to bring up the HDR settings, and we're going to keep auto align checked, but then deselect auto settings. Deghost, if it was super windy, then you'll want to put like low, medium, or whatever. But then you're going to want to create a stack from the finished images so it keeps them all together so that when it comes time to export, you're not exporting all the stuff. So now that we hit merge, this saves the settings, and then we can select the rest of them and then Control H, and then it's going to merge the rest of them into HDRs as well. So we're going to give this a few minutes to do its thing. And while those are all merging, I'm actually going to go into the Develop tab and create my preset for the first one. First things first, we go to Transform. I usually just hit Auto, even though this is pretty close enough, so it's probably not going to change anything. And then we're going to lift the exposure, drop the highlights all the way down, increase the shadows all the way up, which means we'll just need to drop the exposure back down a little bit. Texture I usually drop a little bit. Clarity I usually increase. Dehaze a little bit of vibrance, tiny bit of saturation, increase the whites, decrease the blacks for some additional contrast. And then I usually go into the color mixer. In the saturation, I'm going to lift up the greens quite a bit. Luminance, I'm going to drop the blue so the sky really pops out. And then I'll usually drop the blue a little bit down in the luminance just to make the sky pop out just a little bit better. That's really all there is for my exteriors. So to create a new preset from that, I'm going to hit this little plus icon and hit create preset. I'm going to just do this exteriors HDR. Make sure to select the transform. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we do that, I did forget one thing. In lens corrections, I want to make sure to remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections so that it will detect what lens and camera is being used. Now we're going to go ahead and create a preset. Exteriors, HDR. And then now we can go back and wait for the remainders of these to finish. Okay, so now that all of these are merged and this one's already edited, we're going to select the first one, select the last one, and then we're going to go to Quick Develop, Saved Preset, User Presets, Exteriors HDR. And then that's going to apply to all of them, and then we're going to hit Develop. And then all we need to do is just double check each one. Okay, and once we're in here, this looks pretty good, so I'm going to move on to the next one. And between these two, I think I like this one better. So then this photo, to delete it, I'm going to expand that, deselect all of them, select all the photos in this stack, right click, remove photos, and delete from disk. And this one, I'm just going to increase the exposure just a tad, crop in a little bit. Oops. So when cropping, you always want to maintain the same aspect ratio, so make sure to hit this lock because you always want to deliver your photos in 3:2. And I'm actually going to move the crop just so there's a little bit less of that dead grass. and more of the sky. And now I can just adjust the exposure just a tad. In this one, we'll just want to increase the exposure. And this one seems to be a little bit clearer than the other one. So let's look at them side by side. Yeah, okay. So then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to expand, select all these, remove photos, delete from disk. Adjust the white balance a little bit there too. If you want to get really fancy, brush in a little bit right there. Increase the exposure. Get rid of the mask. Decrease the overall exposure just a tad. And there you go. Okay, so now we need to increase the exposure quite heavily on this one. And with his shadow, we're just going to kind of cover it, copy it, and just stick it right there, and that's good enough. Looks like he took a bunch of pictures of the same exact thing, but we want to use the more sunny one. Rotate just a little bit, just the vertical, and bye. So bring that down, and we'll brush in some quick exposure right there, and that's fine. Drop the exposure, crop in a little bit just to get rid of this tree. So this one looks a little bit blurry, so I'm going to delete this one. So you have to double check your focus. Okay, this one's so slightly difficult because your horizontals weren't quite on. So let's see if I can fix it. So first we're going to want to drag the horizontal slider, watching this line up here to make it as even as possible. And then we're going to want to rotate, and you see this bow? There we go. So then what we're going to do after that is crop in from the top so you can't quite see. And then we're going to brush in some exposure. And you can also try doing a full transform, and that might get you more of the way there. Okay, increase the exposure just a tad, go into the brush, and just kind of throughout the entire garage. That's good enough. We can delete this one, and then we can do this little eyedropper tool, and then that changes the exposure, or sorry, it changes the white balance. And this photo's fine. I do want it to be just a little bit warmer though, because I like warmer photos. This one's way too warm. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to crop in just a tad and maybe showcase more of the sky. Now this one will increase the exposure just a tad, decrease the warmth just a tad, and then move on to the next picture, increase the exposure. Very nice. Okay, that's it for these. You're going to select all of them, hit export, export, and I'll just put them on my desktop, and then I'll put them in its own little folder. I always do rename to file name or custom name sequence, and then these are exterior, so I'm going to do exterior starting at 1. And file settings, we're going to do limit file size to 3000 kilobytes, and HDR output's totally fine. Resize to fit, I do long edge 2880, and then 300. And then I don't want to enlarge. And there you go. So we'll hit export, let it do its thing. It'll give you this warning. We'll just hit continue. Okay, so those are finished exporting. Okay, so we're back in Lightroom, and I'm going to hit Command-Shift-I to go into the import. And then I'm going to bring up my Finder here and import my students' interior photos just to look over them. Import. Let's see what we got. And I'm just going to hit develop and just go by one by one. And then I'm going to give kind of feedback as I progress as well. So in this shot, I would have angled the camera so I could see more of the front door and not so much of this wall, just so it's angled more so you can see inside the house. But I'm going to throw a little bit of dehaze in there and then increase the contrast just a tad. And then I might even increase the highlights, decrease the shadows, increase the whites, decrease the blacks, decrease texture, increase clarity, and then I'm going to create a preset, and I'm just going to do interiors, quality control. I'm going to get back out. I'm going to select all the photos, interiors, quality control, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to go into develop and just go by one. So I already gave my notes on this. Overall, it's a good picture. The verticals are pretty good. I'm just going to go in here, see if I can hit vertical again, see if it makes any changes, or if I can change the vertical slider just a tad. Then when you do this, you'll see this white area right here. Just hit constrain crop, and then it'll bring that in. Next photo. That's fine. This is kind of a hard room to shoot because the layout is a little wonky, but what's important is that your verticals are good. This one I would have moved the camera, rotate a little bit more to the left so you can see more of the living room again. It just sucks that this big ass couch is right here. Like that. That's fine. It sucks that this is right here, but there's not much you can do about it. So all that matters is that your verticals are good. Look at these verticals. Very nice. Yeah, very nice. I like that you can see a little bit going into this room too, but I think the next photo you went straight into this hallway, which you did. This one, I would have done a straight on shot instead of just a little bit more angled, but that's fine. And I would have angled the camera a little bit more to the left so that you can see more of this door and less of this door. That's great. We don't want to be angling down really ever, so yeah, there's not much we can do to save this picture, but you don't ever want to be angling down. I get why you did it in this bathroom, but I mean, you can go ahead and deliver both of these, but just know for next time. Like that one's better. That's a tough shot. I don't really typically take photos when rooms have a little jet out like this for the closet. I just go into the room, so I won't take a picture from right here. I'll just take it from inside, probably like the next one. That's fine. That's fine. Good verticals, my friend. I would have gone just a little bit further in so you couldn't see so much of the door frame, but that's totally fine. That's great. And this house, I mean, this house is a mess, so it's not going to be, perfect. But this one's like a little bit rotated, so I'll just fix that just a tad. That's fine. This is a really wonky laid out house. For all intents and purposes, I think you did pretty good considering the layout. That's great. Between these two, I would pick, yeah, just deliver both of them. That's good. Good horizontals. Increase the exposure just a tad. Ooh, God. Okay, yeah, you'd want to push in just a tad more. Also, there's something weird with your focus here. It doesn't look like it focused correctly. So make sure you're half pressing before you actually take the photo. But I'm going to crop in like that so we can't see that nasty side. And it's a little bit blurry, so just watch your focus next time. It's fine. It's fine. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't usually take this shot. And something weird going on with the lens getting hit with the light. So maybe there was a light just directly up. Just watch this. That's fine for now, but in this, I would have moved the camera in a little bit more and taken the shot so you don't see this big jet out. Get a microfiber cloth and clean your lens. It might have some dust on it. Actually, it does have some dust on it. Lens correction. See how it's all bowed right here? So we're going to fix that a little bit. Yeah, see? That's fine. Just clean your lens. This is on all of them. Yeah, man, for your first shoot, these are great. I mean, you got all the right angles. Your verticals were completely fine between the two. I mean, I guess just delete this one. Verticals are great. Pretty much all the straight on shots you did were also really great. So yeah, kudos to you. I would have included also just a straight on shot of the front door. I usually include. So I would have even maybe have moved this a little bit and then taken a straight on shot of the front door. But yeah, great job. So how we do after they're ready, you're going to select all of them, right click and hit export. And then I usually name them interiors, and all the settings are the same as previous. JPEG, limit file size, don't enlarge, 2880, 300 pixels per inch, and export. Cool, good deal. So hopefully you learned a little bit about how to edit these interior and exterior photos using Lightroom Classic. I'm shooting on my brand new ZVE one that just came in the mail today. I'm super excited to be doing a bunch of listing videos with it and a bunch of YouTube content. So be on the lookout for that. I will see you in the next one.